What are you thinking about Ollie Skipp? Because he was mentioned in the article saying he could be considered for another loan move this season.
Yeah.
I'm really confused about that one because I thought he was, after his season last year, he's come back, he's looked really good in pre-season. I thought he was one that was going to be fighting for that role in centre mid next year at the club.
Yeah, so the quote from Eccleshare goes like this: says the uncertainty over whether players like Sissoko can be shipped out also has a knock-on effect on other players such as Ollie Skipp. That Spurs would like to keep this summer rather than send out on loan, but it will depend on who they are able to sell and also who they are able to bring in. Skipp too, we'll find out more in the coming weeks as Tottenham work their way through pre-season. A new head coach has more of a chance to look at his players. There's a great deal of interest in Skipp from Premier League clubs and abroad should he become available for loan. For me, look, I would like Spurs to have this mentality. As I was saying this to Josh the other week on the watch along, I would really like Spurs to have this mentality, like of not being so concerned about who they can ship out and actually being concerned with who's the best available players to play. Why would we be concerned about whether we can ship out Sissoko to decide whether we play Ollie Skipp or not? What should be the decision is Ollie Skipp is staying and Sissoko is not going to be in our plans whether he leaves or not. If he doesn't leave, he's going to be in the reserves and we're not using him. Why we are thinking that we have to... Ollie Skipp's future depends on whether we can shift out a dead player like Sissoko, as if Sissoko deserves more game time or is a better option than Ollie Skipp, is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling to me. That should not be the decision. But this is how the club operates. The club operates in a way that they think Sissoko is on 95 grand a week and he's still at the club, and he's an established international, so we have to use him instead of a hungrier, potentially more talented player like Ollie Skipp. That's how the club sees it. Whereas bigger clubs like Man United or a Man City or whatever, they don't see it that way. They see it as we're going to use what we think is the best option right now, regardless of age and whatnot. And if we can't ship the player that we want to ship, what we're going to do is just not use him, and that's it. If he's going to fine, if you can't shift him, you're just going to be in the reserves, and simple as that. We're not going to still continue to use you just because you're here, and that's what frustrates me. Why are we concerned about? Why is Skipp's future tied to Sissoko? It shouldn't be anything to do with it.
It's ridiculous, to be honest. It's ridiculous. And also, they're not even looking like to bring in any money for Sissoko either. Like, you're going to get what, like 5 million maximum for Sissoko, 10
Has he
million
got 2
max.
years or 1 year left?
I'm pretty sure he has 1 year. Let me just check that. But either way, like, no one's going to spend on him. No one's going to spend on him. He's 32
I think clubs in
old.
France, considering he was at the Euros and stuff, and he's still highly thought of in
his
France.
contract dies in 23.
So 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think you can probably get
Who signed off
between 5 and 10 million. I think.
Who signed off on tying down Sissoko to a contract until he's 35 or 34? Whatever.
Yeah, I remember at the time I was thinking it was a bit odd.
Was Mourinho the manager?
I think it was Mourinho who did it. I think it was during the time where he was actually playing quite well.
Right at the beginning of last season.
I think it was actually before that. I think it was the season where Poch got sacked. I think that was the season he signed it.
What, when Mourinho and Sacramento went into the dressing room being like, oh, Sissoko's the biggest influence in the dressing room. And then they were like, oh, no. And then they signed him up to a contract.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's when it was, if I remember rightly. I think that's when he signed the contract.
But either way, yeah, Ollie Skipp is in the top 4 best centre mids at the club right now. You got to say that. Højbjerg, Ndombele, Lo Celso, then Skipp.
Actually, it was Pochettino who signed him.
Oh,
up.
It was Poch.
It was September. It was right beginning of the season where he got sacked. He signed a new contract.
That doesn't... What, till he's 34? That's nuts, though.
Yeah.
Nuts. That doesn't sound like Pochettino business. Because he's always
well,
looking
to be fair,
players.
at that time, it was just after we had got to the Champions League final, and he was a big part of that, wasn't he? Because we were relying on him a lot.
Give him a 1 or 2 year extension. Don't give him a 4 year contract or whatever it is.
Well, it was a 1 year extension in his kind of contract, so that's what it was. Probably extra money and whatnot. But I think Ollie Skipp, I completely agree. Right now, he's the one who's hungrier. He's a homegrown player. He's clearly shown he's ready to take on that responsibility, and I think he's shown a lot of quality on the ball and his passing range and everything like that. I just think Ollie Skipp should be part of the first team this season, and we shouldn't be looking at loaning him out. We should be looking at developing him and getting him acclimatised with us to the Premier League football. And the fact that he's dependent on who we can ship out is a bit frustrating to me, because I don't want us to be keeping Sissoko and then Sissoko getting more minutes than Ollie Skipp. That doesn't make more sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Or even worse, I don't want to see us keep Sissoko and then loan out Ollie Skipp, and all of a sudden another Premier League club or whatever is benefiting from having Ollie Skipp in their team, and we're stuck with Sissoko. How does that make sense?
Makes no sense.
How does that make
whatsoever.
sense? Just because we can't ship him. If we can't ship him, fine. Just don't use him and use the player that is better and hungrier. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, completely agree.